We are now guaranteed a 7th different champion for a 7th consecutive year.
Then 1993 was the last time a Canadian team has
Brock
won the
Purdy is basically, I mean, God, Jesus, whatever you want to call him, like the next thing. Yeah.
God.
Welcome to High Fiber Sports. Easy to digest because we're all full of shit.
Welcome in, beautiful people, to this week's episode of High Fiber Sports. We're bringing you the NBA, the NFL, and the NHL. I'm your host, Matt Kobold, with Brad McDonald. And making his debut tonight on High Fiber Sports, our guy BJ. BJ, where you coming from tonight?
BJ coming at you from Des Moines, Iowa.
Ooh, Des Moines, Iowa. Tell me a little bit about Des Moines, BJ.
Great state, great city in Iowa. I don't know.
Wow, you nailed it.
Throwback there.
God, you should write literature, BJ. You're just,
I'll tell you one thing.
I'm moving there tomorrow. Matt, you want to move there? Fuck it, I'm sold. Huh?
I'm not sold one bit. I was telling BJ I stayed there on 2 separate occasions, but I know the Drake Bulldogs are in town. That's about all I know.
Well, yes, Des Moines is good, BJ. Good analysis. But why don't you let the listeners know, why do we know each other? Why are you joining me this week?
Good old college friends from Iowa State, pride and joy.
Right.
Iowa, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brad, what's going on with you tonight, brother?
I'm just excited for another week. I love that we finally have a guest on this week. Doug had explosive diarrhea, just covered his whole house. It's getting fumigated, probably going to have to burn it. Gas station sushi. I mean, everyone always has it.
Gas station sushi. You're going to put Doug on blast like that. He can't even defend himself.
Well, I'm pretty sure he did the blasting. That wasn't me.
Brad, I want to hear from you before we get into anything. What's going on with you, man?
As we said on last week's episode, I got my way out to Matt's hometown there, over in Denver.
Hometown.
Well, yeah, your new hometown.
Baby.
Yeah, Indy's the hometown, obviously. Your new
now.
home. Whatever. Second home. We went out there for a wedding for a buddy that we actually met at the same time, and so we just had a blast. I was up in Boulder. I'd never been to Boulder. Been to Denver a few times, but Boulder, holy cow, man.
Ooh, beautiful.
Those views, I'm telling you, that was something else. And just a hell of a time. Good vibes, great wedding. Good to see you again. And, man, I can't wait to get back.
Hell yeah.
Did you get to meet Coach Prime out there?
Yeah, he goes to everything. It's in his contract, and that's why the real estate prices are so high. Because if you have any type of party or venue, he just shows up.
He's got to show face.
Yeah, man, that had to cost a lot. Yeah,
He's got to show
there
face.
Both nights, it's crazy. No photos though. Wow, it's weird.
No.
Oh.
Shout out to our buddy Sam Belkis, finally tying the knot with Roxanne.
And Rox.
Where's he at? Cancun right now? I think he's out there in
also,
Cancun.
Matt, before we get too much further, I must say, it was lovely to see your wife.
Oh,
I left her name out last week, and I felt really bad
you sandbagged her last week.
And we hung out a bunch. And God, I missed her, and it was great to see her again. It'd been even longer than it'd been since I seen you. So it was wild.
This week on High Fiber Sports, we're going to be talking the NHL. For the first time ever, we've never talked hockey on this podcast. We got our guy BJ to help us out there. But we have to start, like we've started the last 2 weeks, Brad, with the NBA. We're in the conference finals now. We're in the conference finals, fellas. We are now guaranteed a 7th different champion for a 7th consecutive year. Understand that? That's never happened in NBA history. That's never happened in NBA history where we've had a different champion for 7 straight years. That's crazy. That's
absolutely wild.
The parity, I love it. Let's look at the championship totals for these 4 teams remaining. Starting with my Pacers, we all know. Never won an NBA title, fellas. Only 1 finals appearance. And the Pacers are 1-8 in the conference finals. The Knicks have 2 rings, 1970, 1973. They have 8 finals appearances, but only 2 after 1973. So it's been a while for the Knicks. The Timberwolves, as we can assume, a newer franchise in the league. They've got no championships. They've got no finals appearances. This is just their 3rd ever conference finals appearance. And, of course, the Thunder, they moved from Seattle to Oklahoma City in 2008. If you want to credit the Thunder for the 1979 Supersonics championship, go ahead. I'm not going to. But since moving to OKC in 2008, this is their 5th conference finals appearance, the Thunder. They're 1-3. They advanced in 2012, got beaten by LeBron in the finals. But Brad, what do you think about the 7th consecutive year with a new champion and those 4 teams and their championship history?
You know, I've said it multiple weeks in a row. The NBA gets such a bad rap, but look at how they're doing it. Small market teams blowing up, succeeding, parity. What sport wouldn't want parity? Like, to have 7 years in a row with a different champion, that makes every team every year feel like they're in it. And what does that do? That sells all products in my mind. Like, I think what they're doing is excellent. I think it's awesome. I keep going, NBA, whatever they're doing. It's obviously with their new cap restructure and like the aprons and whatever, it makes it harder for these super teams and just like, oh, we'll just pay whatever we want in luxury tax and you can get every player you want if they all want to go to the same spot. Because there is a new rush of NBA talent out there, and there's so many guys that could take over the league. You can make an argument for probably 5 or 6 guys, and that's why I think the NBA right now, and you've seen these playoffs, just like, I mean, I know we're getting last night's game. Come on. Like, it's been wild. So everything the NBA is doing clearly is right now. I say keep it up. This has been great to watch, and I hope it's 8 years in a row. Yeah. Like, and then maybe the Heat, get back in the cycle sometime.
Easy.
Yeah, I know. I'm crossing my fingers.
BJ, never happened in NBA history. 7 different champions in 7 consecutive years. What do you think about the parity of the league and these final 4 teams?
You love to see the parity. Anytime you can get a new champion every year, to Brad's point, it makes it feel like your team has a chance anytime they step on the court to get to the ultimate championship, which is awesome. Love to see 4 teams in there that haven't won a championship in a long time have a chance to bring it home for their city.
Who's your team? You got an NBA team? I know you're not the biggest NBA guy. I know you like your Cyclones of basketball, but like...
Yeah, no, I'm more of a college basketball person, but Mavericks are where it's at for me. I was
That's right.
Definitely a little bit sad to see them get rid of Luka. He was one of my favorite players.
We got to get his thoughts on. Oh my God, we got a Mavericks guy in here. Yeah, what are your thoughts? Oh, good time or well, Are you like? Did you get like super? And then when you had
watching.
It was the largest odds to win the lottery to get the first overall pick for Cooper Flag, wasn't it?
They jumped 10 spots to get the first pick. Yeah, it was like 1.8% for them to get the number 1 pick. And, I mean, Cooper Flag, come on down.
Cooper Flag's a stud. All right, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely. I mean, you lose somebody like Luka. That's a talent you can't replace regardless. But you hope to get somebody that can fill those shoes to some degree.
Mm-hmm. Maybe there's someone less body fat percentage.
I mean, Luka was like me out there playing basketball, but
let's get into these conference finals, fellas. We got the Pacers, we got the Knicks. Some say the Hicks versus the Knicks. As Reggie Miller said, I don't know why we're the Hicks. I don't know why the Indiana boys are the Hicks. This is the Pacers. No. Come on. This is the Pacers' 10th conference finals appearance in franchise history, as we talked about. They faced the Knicks in 8 of those 10 playoff runs. 8 of those 10 playoff runs, they had to face the Knicks. They played each other 6 times within 8 years in the postseason, 3 times in the Eastern Conference Finals. Over the last 32 years, no 2 teams have played each other in the postseason more than the 48 games between the Pacers and the Knicks. And fellas, that's 48 out of a possible 54 games. Starting in 1993 here in the first round, the Knicks got the Pacers 3-1. 1995 in the second round, Pacers finally got one. Go to 2013, PGs run around in the second round. Big Roy has a huge block on Carmelo in Game 6 in Indianapolis to clinch that baby. Pacers 4-2 in that one. And then, of course, we met last year, Pacers and Knicks, 2024 second round, 7-game series. Pacers got Game 6 at home, went to the Garden 2 days later and got Game 7 in the Garden. This is the final series for TNT. You know I rep TNT. I love Ernie.
Oh, that crew.
Kenny, Chuck, and the big fella. I love those guys. This is the last series for them. Reggie Miller's on the call. Reggie
Yeah.
Miller's on the call. That's awesome.
Right.
I had Brad. You left on Monday. That night, I watched the 30 for 30 winning time with Reggie Miller with the
Oh shit! I haven't
9
seen that
points
one.
in 8 seconds. Brad, starting with you, give me your thoughts on this Knicks Pacers rivalry. 6 out of 8 postseason meetings. Six times in 8 years postseason meetings.
PG era is when I'm paying a lot more attention.
Come on.
And those, I remember the Pacers battle with the Heat in that era a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But this one is so iconic. You go back, I didn't realize it until they started blowing it up when this series came about, how many legendary showdowns they've had. And just the epic finishes, the game series, the choke thing. Like, obviously, we saw Halliburton pull that one off, like a little homage to Reggie Miller.
Had to.
Man, this is the playoff rivalry of our lifetimes in the NBA, I would say.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. BJ, 48 playoff games played over the last 32 years, more than any other two teams. What do you think about this Pacers-Knicks rivalry?
It's pretty crazy. You grow a strong hatred for a team when you see them in the playoffs. That's when it really comes down to it. It's crazy to think that 48 games. That's insane.
That's nuts.
Most of all time.
Let's look at game 1 happening last night, fellas, on Wednesday night in the Garden in New York City. The Pacers won this baby 138 to 135 in overtime.
Freaking barn burner.
Those 273 points are the most combined points ever in a conference finals game. The Pacers made their first 9 shots of this one, but trailed most of the game. Didn't play much defense. Pacers were down 14 points with 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. ESPN gave the Knicks a win probability of 99.8%. Tyrese Halliburton had 31 points and 11 assists, your guy from Iowa State. He's only the second player in Pacers franchise history to have at least 30 points and 10 assists in a playoff game. Malcolm Brogdon was the other one. And also got to give a big shout out to Aaron fucking Neesmith.
Oh, boy.
Career night. I've been on record for not being satisfied with the guy, not being sure about the trade, the Malcolm Brogdon trade to Boston to bring him back. I've been on record not being so sure about that. Damn it, I'm sure about it now. 30 points, a franchise playoff record, 8 threes, 6 in a row with under 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. He was the reason we got back in this baby. BJ, give me your thoughts on this 138 to 135 Pacers game 1 win in New York.
Incredible. I mean, you see a game that high scoring, and to see Naismith he could have thrown the ball at the rim and it would have gone in. It was incredible. And to see Tyrese put up that bucket at the end of regulation to
Oh,
there,
yeah.
that
But then
was
the
just
early joke
in-
sign, like he thought he had it. Did you hear
thought
what he
had
said
the 3,
afterwards?
but he only had the 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was incredible. That was such a game.
Brad, Halliburton, our guy, making that big shot. I thought it was a game winner. I thought it was a game where the choke sign still warranted. I'm fine with the choke sign. Even with the tie.
That could have went really bad. So,
I'm fine with
he
it.
does it, and then okay, first I'm gonna rewind back for a second. I was actually watching the game, and when they were down 14 with, I forget what you said, how much left.
240.
Yeah, I turned it off.
Ooh, Brad, you dog.
Luckily, I have all the NBA games
Bullshit.
reported anyway
Bullshit.
on DVR. Then I get the text from Matt. He's like, Hallie, and I was like, no fucking way. And so right away I'm go to YouTube, and I was like, resume from last watch.
Yeah.
Pacers are my number 1 team. I do root for them, but I'm also one of those sour losers sometimes when I think my team's getting their ass whooped. I've always got the games recording anyway, so I'm like, oh, fuck off. I don't want to watch this if this gets any worse. It's so bad. So, turned it back on, and then actually saw Hallie bounce in and the ball go in. I yell at Troy, dude, check out the end of the game. I thought it was over because I thought they won. So again, I fucked up. I was not watching close enough. And then he's like, he turns it on and it's an overtime. I'm like, overtime? What? And then I run back upstairs and go check it out again. But holy cow, what an experience! These playoffs are just the gift that keeps on giving.
I think the Pacers are the most clutch team in the NBA right now. All these huge comebacks, these fourth quarter comebacks. You can't count us out. We got a lot of pride. We got a lot of heart. All 5 starters averaging over 15 in the playoffs. That's a team, fellas. We move the ball. I'm excited to see what we can do. I'm going to make a prediction right now. I got Pacers in 6. BJ, give me something.
I like the Pacers. Pacers, obviously root for them, for Tyrese. Go Phones.
Obviously.
Also, I'm not going to lie. I kind of want to see the Knicks win it.
Come on
got
now.
a chance as a young kid to tour the Knicks locker room over at Madison Square Garden.
What?
That was a sweet experience.
That's a treat.
Yeah, you
Kind of
wouldn't
left a
forget that.
lasting impression. So I kind of want them. I'll give it to my boy Tyrese, though. We're going Pacers in 7.
Oh, nice,
7.
nice.
I would love that. I would. Oh, just for fandom's sake. Yeah, Game 7 in MSG.
Just like last year.
Yeah, but maybe Brunson without a broken hand. Like, I mean, you
Big
can't
cat.
forget that.
Big Cat. They made a lot of moves. I got to respect
Yeah.
the Knicks. They went all in.
Yeah.
They're a championship contender. No doubt about it.
Hey, you know where my allegiance lies. And what did I say last night after Game 1? What I texted in the High Fiber group chat. Do you remember?
Nope.
I said Pacers in 5.
Oh, I like it.
Oh,
I like it.
What have they done so far in the playoffs? What have they done
Everything.
since January? They're the best team in the league since January, and they've just beat ass in the playoffs so far.
Yeah.
Like they have been the most dominant team. They've been the most consistent. And they've come back from a million. They're never out of any game. So if they're down, I still believe in them. If they're up, I'm pretty sure they're going to close it out because they can score for days.
Can't keep up.
I got
Can't keep up with
faith.
Pacers.
I think Hallie got turned on when they yanked his dad and told him he was the most overrated player in the NBA by all of his peers. I remember I showed you that stat earlier today about he was at that point in time, it was something like 10 for 11 on last second or overtime shots.
Clutch.
Something like that
Clutch.
in the playoffs.
Clutch.
Yeah. Just nuts. He's the most, Tyrese Halliburton is Taco Bell diarrhea. You can always count on that shit.
Ooh, Taco Bell, so good. Shout out to our sponsor, T-Bell.
BJ.
Yeah, right?
Bringing a new sponsor tonight. Okay, BJ.
Yeah. Also depends in dude wipes.
Dude wipes, yeah. Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. The Pacers, the Indiana Pacers, are going to their second ever NBA Finals appearance in franchise history. Let's fucking go.
That's right.
Moving into the Western Conference, we got the Thunder. We got the T-Wolves. This is the first year since 1996 that the Western Conference Finals have not been played inside the state of Texas or California. Another good storyline. If you watched Game 1 of this series, you heard it 10 times from, I think, Mike Breen. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP, just got his trophy tonight. Him and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, a reserve guard for the T-Wolves, are cousins. Born 52 days apart. You didn't know that?
No, I actually, I'm sure I heard it before.
Sure.
But, Alexander Walker isn't as big a name, and so I don't think I really associated him with, and so it probably just, heard it once and never,
And the hyphenated is backwards for him. So.
Yeah, exactly. That probably threw me off too, especially with dyslexia. I mean, they call me Darb for a reason.
That can hold you back. In Toronto, they went to the same high school. SGA said he's like a second brother to him. So that's a cool little storyline in this series. I like that.
No doubt, dude.
But looking back to Game 1, OKC, this was a good game, but they ran away. They ran away there late in the fourth, finished up 114-88. Thunder shot 50% from the floor, 52% from deep. They were +9 in assists, +21 in points off turnovers. And the Thunder led the T-Wolves 54-20 points in the paint. 54-20 points in the paint. Rudy Gobert, a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, has to hit the fucking weight room.
Oh, my God. I've taken thicker shits than him.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in this game had 31 points, 5 boards, and 9 assists. That is his 7th game this postseason with at least 30 points and 5 assists. That is the most in a single postseason in franchise history. Brad, give me your thoughts on Thunder, T-Wolves. We got a good one in Game 2. How you feeling about the end of this series? Who's advancing to the finals?
I got like a highlight I saw from the game. You're definitely going to want to see this one. It's basically encapsulates most of the game, I would say. Yeah.
Is that what
was
happened?
the game. That was the game. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up right there.
Shitstorm.
Yeah. I do think because of the Ant-Man, I was saying it from the beginning, the Nuggets showed their true colors, Jokic being the guy he is, carrying the team and shit. I really thought the Thunder, this is their year. You know, last year, number one seed again. The talent, the depth, the length, the athleticism, they have everything. It's just going through those moments. Well, I thought they had already done enough. And then you go to a 7-gamer with a former champion. Now they've done enough. I got faith in them. The only way the T-Wolves stand a chance is Ant-Man does Kobe things. Because he's, baby Kobe. That's what he can be.
BJ, what's your thoughts on this Game 1 ass beating from the Thunder? Where you going in this series?
I think if the T-Wolves have any chance, Gobert's going to have to step up, play a little more defense, be a little bit stronger down there. It ain't going to happen. OKC. They're going to win in 5.
5. Oof.
5. Yeah. Don't ask me why. I don't have a strong allegiance either way, but I want OKC to win.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Edwards, those guys are big dogs. Going to be in the discussion for the face of the league in the future here. But I'm looking at the third guy. I like Julius Randle. I'll sign up for Julius Randle any day. Minnesota, now after last night's loss, is 30-7 in the last 37 games with Randle in the lineup. That's a hell of a record. I got a couple bets on the T-Wolves to win this series. I'm not confident after seeing that Game 1. We know the Thunder are deeper. We know they're more experienced. But I have a feeling, they're supposed to win that Game 1. And, Minnesota's putting up a fight right now in Game 2. I'm going to go T-Wolves in 7 just to go off the radar a little bit here because I put money on the T-Wolves. I got to stick with them. I think Minnesota's got to look at Denver a little bit. What did the Nuggets do? They played a lot of zone defense. A lot of 3-2 on the Thunder. Minnesota, take a script out of that book. I'm going T-Wolves in 7. I'm not confident about it, boys. Thunder are really good. Probably going to win it all. But I'm going to go with T-Wolves in 7. Brad, finish us up here on the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I think, like I said before, I think I was right off the bat. They got tested. That's the last step they needed. This is it. This is their year. And god damn, this might be their years to come. Because that's the thing. I mean, they're going to lose a few people off, but how many draft picks they still got loaded? You know what I mean? So I see this as the first of many, and Chet Holmgren is still, 17, 18 pounds or so?
He's young.
Once he puts on some weight, 400 pounds or so, then he'll be able to compete at his height. But realistically, once he gets to, look at Giannis. Look at the pictures of him as a rookie versus what he is now. It's incredible. If Chet does 50% of that, he'll last longer. He'll be able to do, he is kind of Giannis-esque without the, not quite as good. You know what I mean? He could be kind of like him, though. He's got the size, the athleticism, 3-point shots way better than his. I would have to imagine his fine motor movements, hand-eye coordination is slightly better than Giannis, whereas Giannis's athleticism is slightly better. Because, shooting right off the bat, he was already a shooter.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he can be something special. Imagine if he gets to the next level with SGA already being at the top level. That's a 1-2 punch that no one wants to mess with. And they're obviously boys. And couple of these other guys are going to get contracts on other teams. Well, they're just going to replace them with their next 17 first-round draft picks next year.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. They're loaded, and they finally figured it out, and they're going to be loaded for a minute.
If you're buying stock on NBA teams, you got to buy the Thunder. You got to buy the Thunder. They're already so young. You didn't even mention Jalen Williams, already an all-star, putting up 20 a game. My goodness. The Thunder are set up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then you get like an old vet like Caruso in there that's done it, been there, done that. Garden Jokic last round. I mean, come on.
Ridiculous. Come on.
That team, they have every guy that does everything. You're screwed unless you play a perfect game.
Moving into the NFL this week on High Fiber Sports, we got to talk about a quarterback in San Francisco. Brock Purdy just put pen to paper. 5 years, $265 million, $181 million fully guaranteed with a full no-trade clause. The 25-year-old has played 3 seasons with the 49ers, starting 36 games. He's got a quarterback record of 23-13, completing 68% of his passes, 64 tutties to 27 picks. Brock Purdy is now the 5th highest paid quarterback in terms of total value in the NFL. But is he a top 5 quarterback in terms of performance?
All time? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Realistically, last year you can kind of toss that away. He was missing all of his weapons, and he still had a decent year that you would, compared to others. I know people say, oh, without all of his weapons, he had none. Offensive line was in shambles. One thing we did realize, though, is that Jennings, JJ, third and Juwan Jennings, is a true number 1 or 2 at least wide receiver, and we've got a hell of a deal on there. And I assume that none of our wide receivers are going to get shot this year, so that should help depth. And yeah, we traded away Debo, but he was, we can have him and Ayuk. To me, I wouldn't be surprised if they trade him too, because look at Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's record drafting wide receivers and running backs. They always find them. So they're not worried about replacing these guys. They'll give him a contract for a few years. Ayuk was probably untradeable because of his ACL tear. So I got trust in Shanahan and Lynch. I think Brock, the contract it's a very Brock thing. He took good money. He didn't fuck around. He's owed. I mean, shit, he's made like $2.5 million and been to the NFC Championship game twice. So he deserves some money, but he didn't ask for the most. Because 2 years from now, it's going to be nothing. He's going to be like 15th highest paid in the NFL. So who cares? This is smart. This is smart. It's smart on Brock's part. And then obviously with paying him that money, that's why they also extended Fred Warner with a contract in order, to push some of the money back. So I think, again, I trust them. I know what they're doing. I get all the hate against Brock, but I've been watching him since he's been in college, freshman year when he came and took over and took Iowa State's program to absolutely new heights. And I actually want to bring up the point because it's really good. Matt and I spoke about it, about would you rather have Anthony Richardson right now after 2 years in the league? I'll throw it to BJ since we spoke on this. This will be a good one. Would you rather have Anthony Richardson with all those skills, 2 years in the league, and never really started that much, or Cam Ward, who's been to like 4 schools and just blown everyone out of the water going into this year? Who are you picking?
Think about it, BJ.
Tough decision. I'm going with Cam Ward.
Woo!
See, we said the same thing.
Come on.
Yeah,
BJ, go.
As much as I like seeing Anthony Richardson and his style of play with the Colts, like it's fun, but you give a person enough time in the NFL, and it's unfortunately is just a couple years right now for a quarterback to either mature or not to mature, and that's their chance. If I'm a team right now, I'm taking the unknown versus somebody that has done well, but not gotten to that top 15 quarterback level.
Yep.
Getting back to Brock Purdy here, BJ. I'm not convinced. He could be. I'm not convinced he's a top 10 quarterback. Do you think, BJ, $265 million is too much for Brock Purdy? Full no trade clause.
To answer that question, no, I don't think it's too much. I think that's what a quarterback goes for. I think that's what you pay a quarterback right now. Do I think Brock Purdy personally is worth $265 million as a starting franchise quarterback? To be answered. He led them to top of the division type of standards, he's getting a little bit of back pay for that, for sure, I think. Um, yeah, is he worth that? Maybe not quite so much. I think there's quarterbacks that are better than
I'm gonna
him.
burn your house down.
Oh,
I
whoa,
know.
easy,
Well,
easy,
Jesus.
easy,
Don't get me
He's
easy.
wrong.
not worth. Okay, that's a load of shit. Okay, that's a load of shit. That's a
I'm a
load of
Brock
shit.
Purdy.
I
I'm a
know. I
Brock
know.
Purdy fan. I love Brock Purdy. Do I think he's
Yeah,
the best quarterback ever? No, I think he's Tom Brady-esque, and I don't think Tom Brady was the best quarterback ever.
we've
Whoa,
talked
whoa,
about
Forgive,
whoa,
that. No, I'm with you
forgive,
on that. Yeah,
whoa.
forgive me for
yeah.
this, but like
We can do that some
they
other day.
they
Yeah.
kind of run the same trend to me. They are clutch. They get the job done. They have good talent around them. They run an offense which maybe makes them the best of all time, but I don't think when you look at a quarterback for the throwing power, the accuracy, and don't get me wrong, Brock Purdy has accuracy. I'm not trying to deny that. I don't think he is the best at any of the traits that makes up a quarterback. I think all around he's a,
Longest average completion since he's
oh,
been in the NFL.
oh okay.
So every time he makes a completion, it's longer than every other quarterback.
So again, that could go to
That seems
coaching.
pretty neat.
That could
That's good, right?
okay. So you get
Brad,
somebody open
gotta break it.
downfield. That could be a fast wide receiver. That could be a good
Or
good
it's
play call.
perfect ball placement within the exact offense. Like,
Okay.
he,
Again,
okay, I get what you're saying. He doesn't have the arm strength, but he has a little bit of everything. He's a jack of all trades, master of none. And the one
yeah,
thing I will say,
absolutely.
hold on. There's one that I think a lot of experts, I don't know, I'm definitely not one of them, obviously, but I think would agree. His ball placement and mid to long intermediate range throw placement is number one in the NFL. His stats have
Absolutely.
shown that since
And
he's become a
that's
starter.
what made,
And
honestly,
that
like
is
as
something
a
that is a
Packers fan,
huge
that's what made
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers so good for the longest time. Was
Yeah, but
his
he had a
ball
fucking
placement. He could have handed it off the ball for all it mattered.
he could put a ball between his butt cheeks and hit a goalpost from 60 yards away. Like that fucker can put a ball where the fuck he wants. Just too bad his head's up his ass most of the time.
Nah, I think it's in a darkness retreat, but
Yeah, which is also up his ass.
I'm wondering.
oh, that's
It's the
fair.
dark now.
I'll be curious to see what happens with Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Big deal. A lot of money. A lot of money. He's got to perform. He's got to perform by, like what you said, BJ, with the payback. You know, he took him to 2 conference finals. A little bit of payback coming here.
I mean, that's one argument, but completely disagree. Brock Purdy is basically, I mean, God, Jesus, whatever you want to call him, like the next thing. Yeah.
God.
Brad, look me in the face and tell me you think Brock Purdy is the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Ever?
I can't go top
yeah.
5.
Yeah. Like, I would say that
I
I've
would put
ever
him top
seen.
10 for sure.
It actually,
I'm not
Top
even
5
going
might
to
be a
sure.
stretch for me, but
it
I'm not
seems like a
convinced top 10.
fairy tale. It's like, it's actually like he's make believe. It's like, it's so amazing how good he is. It's like
Oh,
they're going to
God.
just make
Oh, my
quarterbacks.
Get a
out of this.
jersey.
gracious.
Get a jersey. Get a
What are you
Purdy
talking
jersey.
about your Madden game where you
he
put all
already
the
got one.
sliders up to 99?
Looks like he already got one, huh?
Put me in, coach.
Oh, look at this guy.
Right.
Look at this guy.
What's
Is
that?
that a Super Bowl?
What's that?
A Super
What's that?
Bowl edition.
It's that.
Spent a
Oh,
little
Yeah,
money
he did
on that one. Spent a
Year
little
2 in
money.
the NFL. Is
Wow.
that good?
yeah.
Brock
Did he win that
Purdy.
Super Bowl?
I was taking a nap. That's a lot.
You're a little out of breath. You're a little out of breath.
Yeah. I need to lose weight.
I smell a brew bet coming on Brock Purdy this season. I smell one.
I'm in, brother. We're gonna start keeping track.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Anyone want to get involved? Comment. Get in on it.
Please. Another headline in the NFL this week. All about the Tush push. The Tush push. Grabbing a lot of headlines lately. The Packers. BJ, your fucking Green Bay Packers.
Go, Pack, go.
They proposed to the league office that the play be banned. No more tush push. They can't stop it. They can't stop it, so they don't want it in the game. 22 owners voted to ban the tush push. I thought that was a lot, 22, but they needed 24 for this rule to go into effect. BJ, what's your thoughts on the tush push?
I I am 50-50 on this play, to be real honest. 22 out of 20 or 22 out of 32 owners voted to say no, no tush push. You're way over half at that point. Like,
Yeah.
I think that alone proves a point that there's a significant amount of people out there saying this play is not what the spirit of football is about. I think personally it's a rugby-esque play, and there's a scrum right at the line. You're pushing on people. At the same time, it's well within the rules. It's a play in football. If you're going to do a quarterback sneak, it's about the same thing, other than you have somebody pushing on your back. The Eagles were able to dominate with it. Good for them. Love that. Honestly, I kind of have a soft spot for the Eagles, which isn't common among Packers fans. I love it. If they can make it work, good for them. I also understand the idea of it doesn't quite seem within the spirit of NFL for that play to exist. I can see it both ways, to be honest. Personally, I would probably side with my Packers and say ban the play, but I'm not upset that it's still in the league.
22 owners voting to ban the tush push. That's a lot. That's a lot. But I'm going to say, stop crying. If you can't stop it,
Right.
too bad. Too bad. Brad, you with me on that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, I'm going with Matt on this one. Sorry, BJ. Pansy. You're only doing that because you're a damn Packers fan, and you're the ones bitching about it, so it'd be really stepping on
We
your
were
own
the ones
ass
that
if you,
brought it up.
yeah.
22 other people wanted. 21.
Yeah,
Excuse me,
yeah,
21
yeah,
other
yeah.
people were with us.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah,
happened to be
well,
the
I
ones
mean,
that
it
brought it
wasn't
up.
it wasn't illegal
It's
before,
well
and
over
someone
half
got
the league.
good
It's
at it.
not even like it's like it wasn't even like it was
Yeah.
like five other teams were like, yeah, that seems unfair. No, it was over half the league.
Yeah, whatever, because they can't stop it. Like, no one cared. This play could have existed. I'm sure it happened a few times in the NFL before, and no one said anything about it. There hadn't been this many Google searches for tush push since probably early COVID. Like,
Except
no
for
one
your
fucking gave a shit before.
except for
Like,
your Google search history.
no, that's like amputees and like, it's like weird.
Amputees.
It's really dark. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, again, COVID, so you ran out of stuff and you got curious and went from there. Matt, you said it perfectly. If you can't beat it, then you're going to bitch about it and getting out of the league. It's what if there's another play that comes up? It's within the rules, and then someone gets really good in it and they dominate, and then they're just going to eliminate it. It sets a bad precedent in my mind. It's a trend. It's a trend like everything else. It'll pass. People will figure it out, and then something new will come about, and then we'll bitch about banning that.
And on the plus side, to your point, again, I'm 50-50 on the play itself.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's a short yardage play. It's not like it's every down
Mm-mm.
over and over. They're just using it to get down the field.
And they didn't win every game,
Right.
So
Right.
Antonio Brown found himself back in the news, the retired NFL wide receiver. BJ, can you give us some more information on that?
Fuck this shit. I'm out.
All right, fellas, as promised, we're going to talk a little NHL, a little bit of hockey to finish this week's episode of High Fiber Sports. Now, Brad and I don't want to speak for you, Brad, but myself, I'm not into hockey. I didn't grow up playing it. I didn't grow up watching it. I don't know what's going on. I know we're in the conference finals, but that's why we brought our guy BJ in to fill us in.
So we've been friends for years, BJ. And I know in college, you definitely were not into hockey. You probably started playing the same time as I did intramurals, right? You play them at Iowa State?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was that your first time ever playing it?
First time to some
Yeah.
degree.
We grow up in a Midwest state with winter all the time, and yet no one can play hockey because there's really only a few schools that do it. So I really didn't get introduced to it, but I remember playing intramurals. It was great, yet I still didn't really end up following the NHL. And then I noticed a few years back, you got a tradition where you go to a bunch of professional sports stadiums with your buddies, and you started getting into hockey around the time when like the Vegas Knights came out. and you were talking to me about all this stuff. We ended up seeing a Vegas Knights playoff game in
Ooh,
Vegas
ooh.
just when they opened up after COVID. So that was my first hockey experience, was a playoff Vegas Knights game. And you were just spitting all these facts and whatever. I'm like, when did you learn hockey, dude? What got you into it? What made you decide? Was it like the trips with your buddies, or like what made you like, I want another sport to root for?
Absolutely. To your point, there's nothing like playoff hockey. It's top tier.
Yeah.
Uh, I grew up not knowing much about hockey, to be real honest. A lot of my friends in the neighborhood, two in particular, went to hockey camp. There was not a lot of hockey players around town.
No, I didn't
Um,
know but one, I think.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I grew up kind of knowing about it, but not knowing about it.
Sure.
Played out in the driveway a couple times, used their
Yeah.
gear,
Roller hockey? Oh, yeah.
suited up. Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely, absolutely. It was a blast. But nights came around. My friends from Waterloo, they said, "Hey, let's start going to a hockey game once a year. Pick a city, let's go." It was a blast. And before
Hell
that
yeah.
game, it would happen to be the Knights' first year, Golden Knights, go Vegas, go. Um, it was their first year, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna pick a hockey team, this is gonna
What a
be
year
it.
to start,
What a year to start. They made it to the
right?
Stanley Cup that year.
I
I would
know.
I most people call me a bandwagon. I probably am, but like how can you be a bandwagon when you start the first year of their team?
True. True.
Like like
That's
is
your
that a
first year of
bandwagon
fandom
or
in
is that just
hockey.
good timing?
It's true.
Yeah. No, and I will vouch for you. Good for you for getting another sport, because I'm sure it's just nice, like during the season, to have another thing to watch and to get into. What stands out? What teams? What's going on in your mind in the playoffs?
Obviously I would like to see the Knights advance, but unfortunately the
Sure.
Edmonton Oilers put a kibosh on that. Speaking of the Edmonton Oilers, you would love to see a Canadian team win the Stanley Cup at some point. They're the last one standing. Unfortunately, the Leafs went out last round, and the Leafs have been perennial chokers. You got Austin Matthews, great team around him too, but like unfortunately, they just seem to choke every year in the playoffs. You'd love to see a Canadian team win. It has been the
Damn.
Wow.
Stanley Cup.
Really? Really?
The
Yeah,
owners of
it's
hockey, the king shit of fuck mountain of hockey, and
yes.
they don't have someone passionate enough in one of their cities to bring a hockey team together. Come
It's
on,
it's
guys.
it's wild. You got teams like the Panthers and the Canes going at it tonight. Granted, the Panthers are up for 5-0, I think, right now. 4-0.
Whoa. Five oh
I mean,
blow?
Is
they're
it?
crushing. They've been rolling all playoffs.
Woo.
They're up 2-0 on. Well, after this game, they're going to be up 2-0 on the Canes. So it looks like they're probably going to be advancing to the Stanley Cup for a second year in a row. You hope maybe the Oilers. You got Connor McDavid, one of the best to ever play the game, and
Right.
Leon Draisaitl right there along with him. You hope maybe they can pull it off, but last night they were up 3-1 against the Stars, and we all saw how that turned out. They ended up flipping the script, and the Stars won. I forget what it was, 6-3 maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean, in hockey, nothing's ever safe, even down to the wire. But
Bunch
y-
of
y-
comebacks in the playoffs so
yeah,
far.
yeah,
It's been wild.
it's crazy. Just depends on how the puck's going to bounce, and it's awesome. 7 game series. You really get to see the tempers flare, some of the anger grow as it goes throughout it, and chippiness starts to just really get after it. So
Oh, hell yeah.
it's awesome. There's
Matt,
nothing like playoff hockey.
BJ, what do you think about the NHL this season replacing the All-Star weekend with the Four Nations tournament? I want to hear a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Just the TV views alone kind of prove the point. Not to use basketball things, slam dunk to,
no, here's a
just things like that, gimmicks. Let's be honest, that's what
yeah,
they are. They're cool, they're fun, they get good views. But you go to players who are playing for their country, who are playing for a purpose, you get some good, hard-fought games. This year in particular, I think U.S. Canada had some of the highest television ratings of any sport out
Yeah.
there.
Blew
It
everything
was
else out of the water.
impressive.
Yeah.
I don't see how they go back from doing
Oh,
the
it's a
random
hit.
all pro events
Yeah.
to the Four Nations tournament. You have fights in the U.S. Canada game.
Right?
2 minutes in, the Kachuk
What, 4
brothers.
fights in 2 minutes? Something like that? Something
It
wild.
was it
Yeah.
was wild, and I know
Yeah.
hockey's more than just fights, and it really is,
But
and
it
that's
showed
what a lot of
passion
people
for,
tune.
like, they cared.
They
Yeah.
care, and it shows how much they're ready to just throw down for the sport they love. And
Yeah.
again, hockey is more than just fights, but that's what a lot of people tune in for. And when you
Yeah.
get passion for your country the way that
Yeah.
that did, it's incredible. And Canada goes on and wins the thing. And again, they still can't win a Stanley Cup. What is going on?
Right? Yeah. I mean, they got to keep some of their homeboys back home.
All
But, like,
right.
so, Matt, bring it back to something you're very familiar with, like basketball. So I did go on and say, and on last few weeks, saying how the NBA is doing everything right, except for the All-Star game. So what do you think about, like, NBA doing America versus the world?
Yeah,
Just one game.
yeah, you got to spice it up. I feel like
Yeah, or tournament, something like that,
they switched the rookie sophomore game up to that recently, maybe, but
Yeah,
definitely need to spice up All Star Weekend. No one wants to see a 190 to 185 track meet with
it's dumb.
layup lines and dunk lines and no defense. Nobody wants to watch that. NBA definitely needs to take a page out of the NHL's book.
Yeah, right. That's one thing. Like they crushed it this year. Was an experiment, but experiment successful was what
Mhm.
I would say.
Oh, absolutely.
That and everybody Wang Chung tonight.
BJ, wrap us up on this NHL conversation with who's gonna
Let's
hang a
hear it.
banner this season? Who's raising the Stanley Cup trophy?
Who you got?
Man, it's tough to root against the Panthers. They're up 2-0 on the Canes. Just went final right now. They just crushed the Canes 5-0, I think. I didn't actually see the final score, to be honest. And then you got Stars and Oilers on the Eastern or Western Conference, excuse me. I personally would love to see the Oilers go all the way. You got stars like McDavid and
Yeah.
Draisaitl. Love to see them get a cup, but I don't see a way that anybody beats the Panthers right now. They're a
Ooh.
physical, tough hitting team. Um, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they sweep the Canes, to be honest. And then I could see them beating probably the Stars, who are probably the second best team. We'll say 3-2 or 4-2, 4-2
All right,
in the
4-2.
in the Stanley Cup.
All right, boys and girls, that's going to do us this week for High Fiber Sports. We appreciate everyone coming out. Please like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. It's BJ, anything you got for the people before we get out here tonight?
Just appreciate you guys having me on tonight. This has been awesome. Great podcast.
Hell yeah, brother. We appreciate you coming on. Brad, get us out of here. Take us home, brother.
Guys, it was a blast. But as my mom always said, I should have had that abortion.
Oh, damn, Brad. Damn.